Maria is on the line in Temple, Texas. Merry Christmas, Maria. How can we help?
Merry Christmas. Thank y'all for taking my call. The reason for my call today is my husband and I have recently been, having discussions about finances. And, he's 39, I'm 31. And, we make a good income. And we're just to the point where we're sick and tired of, just, at the end of the year not having any money. So we've been having that discussion of, and I'm excited because, he's looking at our finances like that. I've been a listener, but just trying to get him to, be on the same page with me has been difficult. And then we've got the language barrier as well. Well, bottom line, everything he's telling me sounds great, except for one thing. He did tell me that he wants to take out we're out of debt. We don't have any debt except for our mortgage, and we have 20 acres of land that where our home sits on, and we owe $23,000 on it. And what he's proposing we do is he wants to take out a 401k loan out of his 401k. And I've listened to Dave, and I know that he says that's not a good idea. But before I, present to him and tell him, let's not do that. My question was, why is that not a good idea? What financial implications does that have, like in the long run?
Well, as you start to look at this, Maria, and understand, there's a couple of things I want you to do on the front end. The fact that your husband has now engaged in this process where he was resistant before, I want you to congratulate him. I want you to thank him that he's interested now in looking at that, because that's a big deal. And as his spouse, you are his number one cheerleader. And I think that's such a big deal for couples to work together. But here's the deal on the 401k loans. The deal is you've started to put that money aside so you can live on it later and have a financial future. If you take that money out, there's a couple of things that happen. You stop compound interest from growing. Okay, and compound interest is our best friend when we invest, because that's when our money starts making money. So we don't want to pull that out and stop the growth. But here's the other side. When you have a 401k loan, if you were to leave that job, which means you lose it or you leave it, that 401k loan becomes due and payable within typically 60 to 90 days. You have to pay it back, or it's treated like a withdrawal. And I promise you, when you start to have those kind of things with Uncle Sam, it's like tapping him on the shoulder, and it means you're going to have a tax issue later. So it's just bad all the way around, but kind of get your ducks in a row and talk with him about it, because we don't want to stifle his desire, Rachel, to attack the debt. But we want him to understand, Maria. And so I think the path you're on is a good path. We just want to clarify it.
Right. And I think as you're explaining all of that, Chris, it's like, the more you take on, the more complicated it becomes. Sometimes when you complicate finances, that's when you get in a mess.
Yes.
If you just stick with common sense and you realize, debt's not going to help you. It's going to hurt you in the long run. Debt steals your future. It steals your sleep at night. It steals so much from you. And so the fact that you guys are debt-free, heck no would I go back in debt. Absolutely not. And even though it sounds fancy and good, but look at the basics. When you're going back in debt, you're taking on risk. And everything you just explained, Chris, that's just risk. I just see red lights flashing. So to stay away from that. And again, and I want to make the point too of the relationship and the marriage coming together, because you guys talking about it is huge. So couples out there, you have to be on the same page. And men out there, you heard her. Usually it's the woman who's doing the budget that we're finding, who's taking the lead on the finances. Because for women, for us, money is security.
Yes.
And when things are not talked about and we don't know what's happening, we feel insecure, we feel nervous. But if you're married and you and your husband get together and he starts getting on board, I promise husbands, your wife will be so thankful that you've come along and helped, because you guys have to be unified on the subject.
You guys would be so rich so fast and be able to do so much, not only for yourselves and for your family, but for others.